name is Forrest Sanders, and I'm a reporter, videographer, and editor at WSMV Channel 4 in Nashville.
2300 J. Gray on the main news service, AMC1 to 19A.
I've been in news for coming up on 7 years, and in that time I've received 2 Emmys and 11 First Place Associated Press Awards for work that I wrote, shot, and edited. The challenge for me as a video journalist has been taking on all these different responsibilities and trying to do strong work that's not held back by the fact that I'm working alone. I think the single most important thing that I've had to get a really strong grasp on is time management.
Ladies and gentlemen of Fort Campbell, you, my friends, are listening to Rendezvous Radio. Absolutely.
Generally, I cover the Clarksville area for Channel 4. I do a lot of military stories at Fort Campbell. But what that means is that I'm usually getting my assignment at about 10:15, and I've got about an hour to an hour and a half drive to get up to my story. It doesn't give me a lot of time to work on the ground, so I've had to try to figure out a way to do quick shoots while also trying to make sure the work is good. First thing is, I have to plot out the rest of the day in my head just as soon as I'm assigned a story or switched off into a different story. I have to think, okay, I need to be done shooting at this time, so I have this much time to get back to the station, and in an ideal situation, still have about an hour to log and write, and about an hour to edit something I can be happy with. So when you've got so little time, how do you make the story solid? During this time I'm driving, I'm making calls, I'm trying to get this story set up in as tight a schedule as possible. With most stories, it's pretty obvious who you want to interview, but you do have those situations where you're wanting that little bit of extra color and you need it quick. As a general rule, I found that local mom and pop barber shops and diners are almost always willing to let you in, and people there are always gossiping about the big news of the day. That's why I did this story about a local fire department that caught fire itself.
It's kind of shocking to hear come across the pager when it's your own department. Man, is that, I really hear that right? Is that our department they're paging out to?
Did they say what started it or what? They told me that it completely destroyed the one truck. What about the other one? Did it just damage it or?
At Brandy's restaurant in Crofton, all the conversation over tall glasses of sweet tea centers around what happened just across the street.
I'm sure it was kind of the buzz all over town, yeah. The last thing you expect to happen in the firehouse is a fire.
Normal day downtown. Residents yesterday say they spotted smoke wafting up from the Crofton Volunteer Fire Department.
I don't think there'll be a beat skipped because of this, and yes, I think they'll bounce back quick.
I had a very different situation in this story about an attempted kidnapping of a young woman at a gas station. In this case, the victim didn't want to talk, and neither did the one witness at the gas station. But even without those elements, Channel 4 was still interested in this story as a full piece because of the narrative of what happened. So the question became, in the hour that I have to shoot this story, where can I find somebody who cares about this situation when the key people won't talk? So that's when I saw this beauty shop right across the street. It was run by a woman who was very concerned because she had a staff of young people working for her. That was the real investment that I needed for this story.
It's pretty scary. It's a bit terrifying. There's a bunch of us just over here. You know, it could happen to us.
All right, look down. Lower your shoulders for me.
At Bombshell Salon and Spa in Clarksville, the daily grinds all highlights, shampoo, trims, dyes, and nail polish. But while working hard and keeping the appointments coming.
5:30, if you could.
Owner Jennifer Norfleet says she feels protective of all the young women working here as a family unit.
We're kind of like sisters over here.
And that's why she's so disturbed by what just happened across the street.
Yeah, it hits pretty close to home.
One thing I've always loved doing is feature stories.
I don't know where I'm at sometimes. I'm just listening to music and I'm playing. And I see colors with music.
I love the shooting, the editing, the writing that goes into telling someone's story.
I think I hurt myself.
But Channel 4 is a very hard news-driven station. So what I've tried to do is use some of those elements of a feature in these lead stories, the way I profile a central character. But because I'm a video journalist, I have to find that perfect central character quick. In some cases, it's just a matter of hitting the ground, scoping out the area, and figuring out who has a major investment in this story. That's what happened here.
This is the signature area for Nashville, and we don't want to turn it into another strip mall and, you know, turn it into generic anywhere USA.
Tapping his feet downtown as a street musician for the past 16 years, Mandolin Mike says his Nashville is a place with boots and guitars at every turn, and someone keeping a beat in every window.
Ernest Tubb Record Shop, Jack's Barbecue, those are the things that downtown Nashville really means. Everyone in his care.
He says he just can't see the down-on-the-corner store Walgreens, the corner of 2nd and Broadway.
I don't see that a Walgreens has any individual Nashville character to offer.
With boots still lining the windows, what's now the distinctively Nashville Trail West could soon be a Walgreens, all depending on a development deal.
Visitors that are coming here are looking for those live music venues, those unique restaurants. A large chain drugstore just is a little bit of a scratch in the record right there.
But while some don't want to see the name Walgreens here in the heart of Nashville's entertainment district,
I see enough of that happening at home even, and you know, it's a sad thing to me.
Others argue a growing city needs it.
You got the high-end hotels and things down here. It'd be nice to have some type of thing down here because there isn't. Everything closes.
As for Mandolin Mike, he says he'll welcome a new Walgreens a few blocks away, just not next to these famous names that define his city.
Let's keep Nashville, Nashville.
One of the most challenging parts of being a video journalist is shooting your own stand-ups. It's sometimes very hard to do a shot that has a lot of show and tell about it because you're so constricted working alone. What I've tried to do is frame up the shot in as interesting a way as I can and then show as much as I can. I'll put a very subtle zoom on the shot while I'm editing the story later. I don't want to zoom in too much because it'll start to distort the picture, but I try to hide the fact that I'm working alone as much as possible. Clarksville police say this is no 1 or 2 time criminal. They say he's hit 28 parking meters in just the past month alone. Evans says they've already cleared the area of trees, 469 acres. And now they're hoping to start construction in September. Even working in the time constraints I have, I still overshoot. That means getting a lot of shots really quickly. As soon as I arrive at a scene, I'm trying to find those images that will hopefully take you there and communicate what it was like to be there. In particular, doing military stories. One of the challenges I've had is taking troop homecomings and telling these stories well. Homecomings are great sound, great video, and they happen really quickly. So when you're working alone, it really is a matter of being focused and finding those small moments fast. This story was shot in about 15 minutes, and it was a time that I had to sprint in order to get the good video and also the right central characters.
Children stand on the railing, reaching out to get closer to the plane that's just landed at Fort Campbell. Mommy. 100 soldiers coming home from Afghanistan are walking toward a waiting crowd.
I see Daddy too! Daddy!
Among them is Heather Satelli's son Jeremiah and their inseparable companion who loves a good neck rub.
This is Suki, my service dog. I'm a retiring veteran. She's for mobility purposes. His dad, Sergeant Major Satelli, missed a whole year, his senior year of high school, all his football, and so that's like the toughest part for us.
But today, the 9-month wait is over. There, on the front row is Sergeant Major Satelli, only feet from where his family wait to finally lock in an embrace. But now, Suki, so calm, so sleepy all day, suddenly realizes who just came home.
Oh, that's Daddy! Oh, that's Daddy! That's Daddy!
And when it's been 9 long months apart,
Settle down. Settle down.
Settling down is a hard thing to do.
As soon as she figured out the scent, and I think she's really excited about it, she'll remember this old crusty man here. I'm so glad and happy for all the soldiers. Pray to God for everything that protecting our soldiers. Glad to be home with my family, and 9 months is a long time.
Overshooting might seem like it would complicate editing too much while you're working alone. But I think the good part of having shot the footage is that you know the footage that you have. So while I'm driving back to the station, I've got both hands on the wheel. I'm trying to write the story in my head as much as possible so that when I actually arrive back here at the station, I can hit the ground running with the script. No matter what the piece is about, the goal is always the same: to find that person who's passionate about the story and then tell that person's story well. When you're a video journalist, you have unique ownership of your work. So when you are able to tell that story well enough to where it has a real impact, then that's a great feeling.